And this is not just for Ireland. You can go to UK also through me. You can go to US, Australia, wherever you want through me. I am not going to charge you 80-90,000 aged funds like you age cheese. It was a bad joke. कौन गाड़ी चला रहा है? गिरा सकते हैं थोड़ा. मेरा हाथ हेड कट थोड़ा. Today only my hair is looking bad. And welcome back to my channel Alive to Tell Tale. My name is Sharmishta and today I am back with another video. So today's topic is very important, but before that I have something to discuss with you. If you're following me on Instagram, you might have noted that I did a Q&A a few days ago. If you're not following me yet, then Sharmishta09 is my handle. Go follow now. So through that Q&A, I discovered a lot of students who went in for this Jan intake to Ireland were complaining about not finding accommodation. If you have been a subscriber on this channel for a while, then you must be knowing that I have made 2 in-depth videos talking about accommodation a few months ago, and I have spoken about how, what, where, when, everything possible on these videos. But if you haven't watched that yet, then go watch it now. But if you have watched it and if it's, it hasn't helped in finding accommodation, then I have a suggestion to make. Buy yourself more time, right? Basically, you need to buy yourself more time. Either you consider doing the campus accommodation, but this has to be considered much in prior even before you get to Ireland, because this has to be booked when you're paying your fee. So the other option left is student accommodation. And I don't see why a lot of people do not consider this. I understand it's comparatively expensive to renting a house, but it's way better than staying in a hotel while looking for permanent accommodation and spending more on hotels than, investing the same amount of money or even less in student accommodations. Now, if I had to recommend a particular brand, then I would recommend Amber Student for all you guys who are struggling and having a tough time, looking on rental websites, looking on Facebook groups and still not finding an accommodation. Then Amber Student has to be your option. I have been associated with them for about a year now, and all the students who've been there through me have never really complained. I have a referral link. I will leave that link in the description below. Just go to the website. All you have to do is enter your university's name. Just add your university's name and it will show you all the options nearby to the university, just like walking distance, and what more would a student want, right? So go ahead, book like a short-term accommodation first. If you like it, then extend your stay, or you can just consider it as buying more time in looking for permanent accommodation and looking for houses to rent while you're living with Amber Student. And I'm not suggesting this just for Ireland. So these guys are established themselves in like more than 100 countries. So if you're going to Ireland anyway, UK, US, Canada, Australia, anywhere, for all the students who are planning to go to all these different countries, then I highly recommend you to explore this option. Just go click on the link, add your university's name, and there you have all your options. The advantage with this is they're really flexible. You can change dates. In case of any last minute changes, you can ask them for a refund. When you are somebody who's going to a new country all alone and doing everything by yourself, you need somebody who can be liable for an explanation if something goes wrong. So in case of any changes in bookings or anything that you want, any kind of explanation you want, they have like a 24/7 assistance that they offer. There's somebody with you at every step of the booking and also will continue their assistance once you start living with them. So I don't know, why would you not consider it? So go down, click on the link and go explore. Now coming to the topic. Today's topic is Ireland versus UK or UK over Ireland. I will think about a title and put it on the thumbnail. So basically, again, through the Q&A I did, Q&A has become like me discovering all the gaps that I haven't filled and should be filling. So this gave me an idea as to, everybody comes to me and is like, ye kiya hai, these are my scores, and should I go to Ireland or UK? Now, as much as I'd like to give you a recommendation, I'll need to know a lot about your academic and your professional background. I'd like to know, what do you want to do in life after studying? Like, do you want to settle there? Do you want to come back? What's your field of expertise? What's your field of interest? इतना सब जानने के बाद only I'll be able to tell you one country out of this. So if you're looking for in-depth analysis of your profile and then looking for consultation in terms of which country you should go, which universities are most suitable, what courses suit your profile the best, then there is a Google form in the description below. Go fill it, and then somebody from my team will come and assist you end to end for very negligible prices. And in certain cases, for countries like UK and US, it's completely free. So if you are planning to go abroad and don't know where to go, which consultancy to approach, and if you were approached a consultancy and they're charging you hefty prices like 80,000, 90,000 to do end-to-end assistance, then I'd suggest please leave all of them aside. Just go for people who are charging you reasonably or doing it for free. There's a link in the description. Any country on earth, Ireland, UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, wherever you want to go, I am here to help you. Please go fill in the Google form and someone from my team will come and get in touch with you. But on the surface level, there is like some basic understanding you need to get in terms of making half the decision, right? Here is where this video is going to help you. So if you're struggling to understand UK or Ireland, then please watch till the end and thank me later. Now I'm going to do like a all-in-all comparison, okay? It's not going to be suggesting you Ireland or UK, but I'm going to do a comparison to make you understand how to pick a country over the other. Now the first and the most important is funds. Everybody knows how difficult it is to do the process for Ireland. Now Ireland requires you to have aged funds, like you age cheese. It was a bad joke. Okay, aged funds means they have been in your account for more than 6 months, right? But on the other hand, for UK, you need funds that have not been around for long, like they can be as old as just 45 days. Even in terms of the source of funds, so for Ireland, they need to know which money is coming from where. So if suppose there are 50 rupees, you'll have to tell them where the 10 is coming from, where another 15 is coming from, where another 20 is coming from. Every amount, every penny in your account has to be accounted for. Apart from that, the more assets you show, the more funds you show, the more you're increasing your likeliness of getting your visa approved. Meaning, apart from the loan, apart from the savings you have in your bank accounts, people also recommend you to show whatever gold you have, whatever gold you own, whatever assets you have, plots, properties, all these papers have to be put there just to make sure that the Irish embassy is convinced that you can go live there without having to torture anybody. But on the other hand, UK fresh funds as old as 45 days, and the source of fund is not important. Like I can come and deposit some amount in your account, and then 45 days later when you're going to apply for your visa, nobody's going to ask you where this money has come from. Comparison mein, going to UK is simpler in terms of funds. Now, the second point, cost of living. Now, a few days back, I had a word with my friend and she thought Ireland is very, very, very expensive. So Ireland has this outside, this myth running around the entire world that Ireland ka cost of living is very high. Now, I'm going to bust the myth, okay? Every country, wherever you go to, it offers you a range, and so does Ireland. It's a choice if you want to spend like 550 euros or 650 euros and stay in a 4-sharing 2 BHK apartment, or you end up paying 250 euros to 350 euros and end up sharing an apartment of 4 bedroom with 8 people, something like that, or want to live in the outskirts. It's not a fixed range. If Ireland would offer only 550 to 850 bucks accommodation, then you could say that the cost of living is higher. Ireland is very small. Dublin again is very small, and if you even choose to live in the outskirts, it's not going to cost you a lot to come back to the city to go to your university or go to your part-time job. It offers a range, and I wouldn't personally consider saying that cost of living in Ireland is higher for a student and on a student visa. Now, on the other hand, UK and Ireland's cost of living is more or less the same. The only difference I would say is the availability of housing. So housing is more comfortable in UK, like you find and you get immediately. That's not the case with Ireland. You'll have to work really hard, I wouldn't lie. You will have to go on to rental websites, you'll have to make connections on Facebook groups. Again, it's a choice if you want to live with foreigners or if you want to live with people of the same nationality. It is a struggle. But that's not the case in UK, because UK is such a big place in terms of the number of cities it has. Whichever city you go to, the number of Indians are also a lot more than in comparison to what Ireland has. So finding a house is not as difficult as it is in Ireland. So if you have to think of a place, if this is a decision maker for you, finding a house, then UK over Ireland. Next, third point, intakes. We all know how many intakes Ireland has. All the big universities have just one intake, which is a September intake, and all the other universities have another intake along with the September intake, which is the Jan intake. It's a clear disadvantage for Ireland in terms of intakes, because if somebody has dropped their job and wants to like immediately fly and go do their masters, then I wouldn't recommend Ireland, because you'll have to wait for the entire year. You have to start your application processes much in the previous year or in the beginning of that particular year to get to the September intake, and it is a task. So you don't have much options. But if you're okay and you're like well ahead planned and you're like, next year in September I have to go do my masters, then if you're planning much in prior, then everything is in place. But if you like last minute and like 3 months I want to go and you're somewhere in the post September, then it's a task, right? But on the other hand, for UK it's different. Most universities have 3 intakes. One is in the September, one is in the Jan, and there's a mid-year also, which is May. So it's comparatively more comfortable for people who are making decisions last minute and are flying very quickly. If you know that you have a lot of time in hand and are planning like 1 or 2 years in prior to go do your masters, then of course September intake in Ireland is a great idea. But if you are like doing it at the drop of a hat, like in 2-3 months you want to fly and go, then having more options in hand is a better idea, and 3 intakes a year is a great deal. So for these kind of people, UK is the option. Next, fourth, universities. Now, Ireland has about 7 cities, right? Basically, it's all about options, right? So if you want a particular course in a particular university in Ireland and you get rejected, the probability of finding another alternative around the same course in another university is less, because the number of universities are less because of the size of the country. But in UK, because you have like 69 cities and so many universities, if you get rejected for one course in one university, the probability of you finding nearly the same option in another university is very high. So if you're like very particular and you want to go to that university only, that course only, reject ho gaya, so you want to reapply the next year and all, then Ireland is a great option. But if you want like have a platter of options, then UK. So the next, my favorite, visa and post-study work permit. I'll start with Ireland. Everybody knows it's 1 + 2 years. If you want like in-depth details, then I will drop the links of in-depth videos that I've talked about post-study work visa and the kind of visas and all of that. I'll drop the links in the description. But to give you an idea on the surface level, 1 + 2 years, 1 year course plus 2 years work permit to work after your masters. Apart from that, Ireland's visa is divided into 2. Visa system is divided into 2. Like after the completion of your course, when you are looking for jobs, it's divided into 2 types. One is the general visa and the other one is the critical skill work permit. Now depends upon what course you did and what job you're ending up doing, that kind of visa you'll get. So all in all, Irish visa is complicated. I wouldn't say slightly, it's complicated. So for people who are in like the tech space and all, and the project management space, and these guys end up getting the critical skill work permit, where the company is always ready to sponsor you the visa, and if they are not, then you can sponsor your own visa. But people in the marketing space, in the art space, all of these guys will need a company to sponsor you at any point. Even after your even if you have a job, if they don't agree to sponsor your visa, then you'll have to get back to your country. That's not the case with critical in Ireland. So all of this is a lot of information. Go and check out the other links in the description. In UK, the visa system has changed. It used to be different for everybody who knows, but for everybody who doesn't know, post Brexit, UK changed their whole post-study work visa system. Post the course, UK offered just about a few months of work permit, which was I think about 4 months, correct me if I'm wrong. After your course, if you end up finding a job through in the meanwhile while you're doing your course, if you find an internship or something, then great. Or after the course, you have just like 4 or 5 months in hand and to find a job. If you don't, then you have to come back. But now post Brexit, thankfully they have opened up. It's the same as Ireland, 1+2. Now you ask me what's the difference if both are 1+2, which brings me to the next point. The most important is job opportunities. Now if both have 1+2, you must be wondering how is it different? The difference is, if you're studying in Dublin, of course you're not limited to apply for jobs within Dublin. You can apply to other cities also. There are a total of 7 cities in Ireland. Now, in number, there are about 1,000+ companies that have their headquarters in Ireland. You are only by the end of the day applying for jobs in 7 cities in total. But on the other hand, for UK, you're applying for jobs in 69 cities in total. You see the difference? So say your course is in London, right? And you're not limited to applying for jobs within London. You can apply beyond London too. So you can apply in Birmingham, you can apply in Edinburgh, you can apply in Manchester. So you have more options. So the idea is to be able to apply as much as you can in as many cities to just increase the probability of getting a job. Now the last and the most important, I'm telling this for every point, everything is important. Last one is also important. So the last one is sponsorship. Now so many people come onto Instagram and ask me, can my brother sponsor my Irish visa? Can my brother-in-law sponsor, and all of this. So there is like this whole go to the Irish website and there is a specific page dedicated to explaining who can sponsor you and who cannot. Now it has to be, there are different rules for the maternal side, there are different rules for the paternal side, and they are very particular about the relation of the person with you, his funds, like his financial stability, and the source of his financial stability. There's a lot, it's in-depth again, so I will drop the link in the description for that particular page on the website, so you can go and read it. So this is about the sponsorship in Ireland. It is complicated and it has to be backed with a lot of proof. On the other hand, for UK, anybody can sponsor you because you are not telling that somebody is sponsoring you. By the end of the day, your account, like Sharmishta's account, has to show some money to say that you can go and survive there for as long as your course lasts, and your living expenses and your fees and all of that. Now who put that money into Sharmishta's account is unnecessary to them. So in terms of sponsorship also, going to UK is much easier. Okay guys, so these are the points that come to me on the top of my head to give you like a comparison of going to Ireland and going to UK, which one is better. Half the decision making is done when you understand which one suits you more out of all these points, and the rest of the half will be done by a professional. Please go to a professional, don't do all this on your own. If you need help from my end, then go to the link in the description, fill the Google form, and someone from my team will come and assist you. And this is not just for Ireland, you can go to UK also through me, you can go to US, Australia, wherever you want through me. I am not going to charge you 80,000-90,000, be sure of that. Please don't pay anybody that amount. And yeah, drop in your comments if you have any questions. I will stay active on Instagram also. If you have any questions, please drop your questions there and I will get back to you at the earliest. There are certain people who just say hi and leave it. If you have a question, please ask me and I will reply. If you just say hi, then I don't know what to say to you, so I will move on to answering to somebody else's questions. So drop your questions and I'll get back to you. I hope you like this video. I hope it was informative. I hope it makes you take half the decision, and I hope you take professional assistance from me. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.